Hey there, it's Jamie again. And in our last video, we uploaded 3 tables into Tableau and then we set up relationships that connected them. Now we've got 3 tables and we can use the fact that state names are present in all of the tables as a way to mix variables from one table and connect them to that of another table. And I'll show you what I mean as we move through these videos. But in this video, I just want to focus on using text in a visualization and using a simple table. All right, let's get started. I'm going to take my first sheet and I'm going to enter text as a visualization. What? Text as a visualization, you might say, or maybe you already know. The text is okay in small doses. Our brains are quite good at understanding text, but when there's a lot of it, we can get overwhelmed and it takes a lot of mental effort to make sense. So we want to use text sparingly when there's a big number that's really important to our analysis that we just want to show. And in this example, that number is the total vaccines for the coronavirus that have been distributed in the United States. So to do that, I am just going to grab total delivered from my CDC vaccination table, and I'm going to drag it straight in. And here we go. Sheet 1, there have been 58,380,300 coronavirus vaccines distributed to healthcare providers in the United States. This is not necessarily the same number as those administered, but we're going to be okay with that. And I'm going to call this total doses of the vaccine distributed. There we go, 58 million. That's using text as a visualization. Well, there are other things we can do besides just looking at text. And one of the things that we might be interested in is a small table. Tables are good, they're just text, but organized. And so the structure of the table can help direct our attention to a series of pieces of text that, when viewed in a certain order, can make sense. So let's make one. And here, what I want to know is regionally, in the West, the South, the Northeast, the Midwest, how many people live there? And what percentage of people have received at least one dose of the vaccine? So I need population. And I need a measure that shows me the number of people who have been vaccinated as a percentage of that population. So to get started, I'm going to start with a calculated field. And the field I want to calculate is actually based on people with one dose per 100,000. So if I take a look at this variable, people with one dose, at least one dose, per 100,000 residents. If we divide that number by 100,000, we get a percentage. So I'm going to create a new calculated field. And I'm going to call this percent with 1 plus dose. 1 plus doses to keep the tense the same. And then what that is just going to be is the people with 1 plus dose per 100,000 divided by 100,000. I get a note that my calculation is valid, which is good, because if it doesn't say that, you have to take the time to figure out why. But we're just going to go with it and say, okay. And then I'm going to format this. Under default properties, I'll choose number format. And I want to format it as a percentage. And I'm going to use, well, let's just say with 2 decimal places, that's fine. And I'll say okay. All right, now let's make this table. Region, total population, percent with at least 1 dose. So I'm going to start with region. And my region is down here on my 3rd table that is being called sheet 1. I can pull region in, and it gives us our 4 regions: Midwest, Northeast, South, and West. And then here it gives me ABC. That just tells me that the way that the data is stored, but I want it to give me some information. I want it to give me my population in 2019. That's the most recent year for which the census has an estimate. 2020, when the census data comes out, will be available, and there's nothing yet for 2021. And then I want to drag in this new variable, percentage with 1 plus doses. Now, as soon as I drag them both in, you can see my measure values is filled with two things. And I actually want these in a different order. So I'm just going to drag them to be in a different order. So you might be wondering, what is null? Null is everything that is not assigned to a region. So there's a total line that includes the vaccines for the entire United States. That's not a region, so that's in there. Also included are various agencies like Department of Defense or nursing home facilities have a specific line of data also in our region, and those aren't divided by region. So I'm going to exclude this, and then I'm going to sort by population. Now, you might be seeing, there's a problem. We've got 148% of people have gotten at least one dose. Let's pop back here and look at our measure values. It says sum. What that means is it took the percentage in every state in that region and added them up. What we want to know is not the sum. Rather, we want to know the average. Now that we've taken a look at the average, we can see that on average, in the South, 8.71% of people have received a vaccination. In the West, it's 9.05. The South is our most populated region, and the Northeast is our least populated region. One thing I was thinking we might see in this table would be a stark difference in the percentage of people by region, but I'm not seeing that. The numbers vary between 8.13% in the Midwest to 9.05% in the West, but those are very small. That's actually not all that large of a difference, and I'm not sure that I'm seeing something statistically significant there. So I'm just going to label this table, and I'm going to move on with my analysis, and if we need to come back to it later, we will. So I'm going to call it population, what are we going to call it? Regional population and vaccination rate. Great. I'd like to have a title that's shorter so that this table is square, or that it doesn't tail out over here, but it's just going to have to do. All right, good luck with that, and when you've got that sorted, you can move on to the next video. See you soon.